Hey folks, I'm Craig Lipinski.
I'm Seth Castellum.
And I'm Chris Dunn.
And you're listening to episode 12 of Ludowave Radio, the smooth sounds of video game talk. And I just came back from a Friendsgiving.
Please tell me nobody actually called it that.
That's exactly what it was called. It was called a Friendsgiving.
And you didn't just die right there?
Have you not heard of that, Seth? That's definitely a thing.
Oh my god.
I don't even have friends and I know about this.
I'm about to...
I don't even have friends. It's like a newer phenomenon, if I had to say, probably in the last 5 years or so. I mean, it is by any other definition like a dinner party. It's like a millennial dinner party, I guess.
So is there avocado toast?
There was not avocado toast. I made yakisoba. We brought him at yakisoba. It was good. Well, we're vegetarians, so trying to narrow it down to something that my lazy ass can make really quickly.
I think avocado toast sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Avocado toast. Actually, now that you mention avocado toast, would have worked, but that would have been more expensive than yakisoba. The people who put it on, they're great. But half the people bailed out ahead of it. Because one thing I've noticed about our generation is that I can't say for certain whether it's different from previous generations or not, is that everyone wants to hang out all the time until it's time to hang out, and then no one wants to hang out.
Yeah, I'm just surprised we could even get this podcast together every 2 weeks.
But it's true. Everyone's like, oh, we should hang out sometime. And then it comes you're like, oh, okay, yeah, next week. And then you go, oh man, I'm not feeling well, or my aunt's dead, or whatever. Everyone has to make up some fucking excuse. Because it turns out everyone likes the idea of hanging out, but it's really stressful because everyone's just hanging out all the time.
I skip the second step and just I nip it in the bud. It's like, hey, we should hang out, and I'm like, nah, let's not do that.
Well, that's what I try to do now. I try to be honest with people about, because me, I wouldn't characterize myself as antisocial or anything like that, but I was out all the time in my 20s. Now I'm in my 30s. I'm like, I'd rather just sit at home and play video games. I'm right now, I'm all set. I like people. You're a good person. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hang out. It's fine. That's where I'm at. It has nothing to do with them and everything to do with me. But I feel like social media plays a big part of it, where you can just scope in on someone's life, at any moment, and you'd be like, oh, we should hang out sometime. It allows everyone to be up each other's asses all the time.
Yeah, that's part of why I do not do Facebook.
I have to have Facebook for my job, but otherwise I would actually delete my Facebook if it was not for work. I would. I am 300% done with Facebook.
The other reason I don't do Facebook is because I just see what people type, and I cannot just be like a mean asshole, like a mean smart ass. It's an asshole, but it's also a smart ass, just to different comments. When I pull up Facebook just to do Ludowave Radio stuff, I see comments on I don't even know what it's called anymore, on the front page of my Facebook, and I'm just I literally have to reel myself in, or else I'm just gonna ruin everybody's perception of me and my family.
I don't even see a lot of stuff that people post. I see a lot of basically repo, shares, Tumblr reblogs. I see a lot of videos and memes and stuff that people share, and I'm like, this is, Facebook was a mistake. That's my first reaction. I just this is a terrible idea. On the surface, I actually like the idea of Facebook. I like the idea. This kind of comes back to what I was saying before. As an adult, as I'm 30-something years old, I kind of think about where my parents were at this age, or even my grandparents. They didn't have people up their ass all the time to hang out. They were I got a job to do. I got to go to work.
They were I have 5 kids.
I have 5 kids. Right, exactly. And I can put them all through college on a single income. But that's besides the point. I kind of wish that people that I didn't hang out with and don't want to hang out with, but think are nice people and would like to check in on them, I kind of wish they did post about their life on Facebook. Like, oh, put up a new shed in the backyard, or baby took first, or whatever, just stupid shit like that. And you can click like and whatever and sort of validate them or whatever and just kind of peek in on their life. And you don't have to say anything. You don't have a discussion. You don't have to hang out sometime. You don't have to do none of that. To me, if that's how Facebook worked, I would like that. I don't like the way it works where it's just a bunch of trash videos and then someone saying, hey, let's go see the new Marvel movie.
I could just get all my fucking memes and funny GIFs from Imager or something, man. I don't need Facebook for that.
I don't need people to help me out with this. I don't need any interaction. I know that really makes me sound like old and crotchety, but it's just, I don't know. I hang out with people not as much as I used to, and I wish you could be honest with people. I wish you could be honest and just be like, yo, my social anxiety does not allow me to do this. Or actually when Chris and I hung out very recently, this reminds me, I told Chris, I said, Chris, before we hung out, I said, I don't like staying out late and I don't hang out with anyone more than 2 or 3 hours. After that, I'm no good to anyone.
And I'm down with that. I totally agree. So
right. That's why I think he didn't get mad. I was honest with him and he didn't get upset. That's the way it should be.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't get upset with you anyway, but it does work out that I happen to feel the very same way. But you should be able to tell anyone that, I think. And it sucks that our culture feels like you can't. So
Right. I want to see Chris. I want to hang out with him, but I just want to be clear. I'm not a night owl, and after a couple hours, you don't want to hang out with me anyway. So let's just call it a night.
When I met Chris and Jackie at Disneyland, they ditched me after a couple hours.
We ditched you after 9 hours, Seth.
Felt like 3.
It's 9 p.m. and we're we're gonna go to sleep, and you're like, the park's open for another 3 hours.
Did you? I feel like you guys split off earlier in the day too. You're like, we're tired. We're gonna go back to the hotel room for a bit.
I don't think that's right.
I feel like that happened, and then we met up later again when it was nighttime. Maybe, I don't know.
I want to break 5 to spend the whole day with you too, Seth.
There's a reason we shorten the length of this podcast.
For everyone, that's not even you. That's everyone. Megan is literally the only human being on the face of this planet that I want to spend any more than just a couple hours with. That's my own best friends. I just this is good. We had a couple drinks. I'm going to go to my own place now, away from everything. Bye.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, one of the reasons I stopped hanging out with my last best friend, actually, is because he wanted to hang out every single day. Right when I got home from work, you'd be texting me hey, come over and hang out. Be like, dude, I'm fucking tired. I'm exhausted from bullshit all day. So, yeah, I kind of just, stopped hanging out with him completely. And now I'm friendless.
I'm not your friend. But it would have been great if we lived if our millennial culture allowed you to be honest with someone and be like, yo, everyone is dragging me in a bunch of different directions and I have to work and I have to be a grown up. Can we just not hang out every day?
Yeah.
It's a very strange place where we're at where, like I said, everyone wants to hang out or everyone likes the idea of hanging out until it's time to hang out and you're like, ugh. And it just doesn't allow anyone to be honest with each other. I hate that.
I can be honest with, there's one person. I have one friend who I could be honest with like that because he has the same fucking social anxiety problems as me. So I know he understands. So, yeah, I have one person I can be honest like that with.
I think sometimes it's not even, for me, it's social anxiety. It's that whole, stereotypical cliche, gotta recharge the batteries. I never use that phrase because it's stupid, but it's true. There comes a point where I'm tired and I'm not fun to be around anymore anyway, so I'm going to go home. But even Megan had some plans recently she had to bail out of, but that's because she's been working 6 days a week, and then she has a commute that's an hour each way on top of that. She made some plans with someone, and then last minute she's like, I'm so tired. I'm like, just tell them you're tired. Tell them the truth. And she got the impression that the person was upset with her, but that's, like I said, that's where we're at. You can't be honest with them. You can't be like, oh, I worked 6 days this week and spent 12 hours in the car because of it. I'm tired. I don't want to. This person lives an hour and 20 minutes away too, and Megan just can't even be honest with someone. And she doesn't have social anxiety. She'd be out every night if it was up to her.
That's why it's just better not to have any friends.
That's what I say. Anyway, that's me. It's Friendsgiving. That's about all I've done. Oh, I had things. Yeah, real Thanksgiving happened too, right? Real Thanksgiving happened.
Right. That sounds right.
That was okay. I don't really have anything to bitch about when it comes to that. That was fine. So, Seth, how have you been?
Could be better. I mean, I'm good right now, but fuck. All right. So last Monday, I get into work, and the first thing I say is that a bag of piss in our mail slot? And the answer is yes. There was a bag of piss in our mail slot.
I like how you were able to identify this like right away. Like you were just able to deduce this.
It was like one of those like grocery store produce bags where you put your vegetables in and that are hanging up on the roll and you tear them and you never know what side to open up. Yeah, it was like one of those full of pee, and the mail slot's right by my fucking desk too. And it's just like shoved through the mail slot, like hanging, because the knot in it like got caught. Luckily, so I guess it didn't like fall down and splash everywhere. The knot got caught like on the mail slot. It's just like dangling right there against the wall. And my boss was in before me, and somehow he did not see the fucking bag of piss hanging on the wall. But the dude's blind anyway. Well, not blind, but oblivious. So yeah, that was horrible. And I mean, it was mostly like sealed up tight, but then there was like some leaking, and we had like an inordinate amount of mail that we usually have on a Saturday that got, and then it was like soaked up like in a bunch of the mail, and then
oh my god,
fucking I wasn't going near that. My boss put on like gloves and was like opening stuff up, and like we had got a bunch of checks in the mail, mortgage checks for clients, and we had to like put them in like as electronic checks instead of like physical and depositing to the bank and everything. And it was just it was gross. It was gross. We have a homeless problem in the area where I work, and it's just fucking getting worse. Luckily,
so you think a homeless person did this? Like that's just
weird.
No,
100%, man. Because there's always like we've come in several times, and there'd be like homeless people like sleeping on the front stoop, and we come in through the back door, but there'd be homeless people like sleeping right in front of the front door, and one of the other guys in the building. It's a fucking seedy neighborhood, anyways. My office is in a old motel. And
this doesn't give me great confidence about your insurance agency. I'll tell you that much.
The office is in an old motel, and it used to be like it's like near where the Navy is, and it used to be like an old Navy dudes hooking up with prostitute hotels. There's like even a big old anchor right out in front of it, and our office is where the lobby used to be, and we're right across the street from a strip club. So it's a seedy neighborhood. With a lot of homeless people, and anyways, one of the other dudes in the building said that like he has seen a homeless dude like peeing in like boots and boxes and other stuff like right in front of our doorstep. So pretty sure it's a homeless dude.
That feels like such a spiteful. Because I mean, I feel like you could pee in the bag and just like, I mean, you shouldn't pee in a bag and leave it on the street, but like I feel like that's
actively going out of your way to put it in a mail slot. That's
yeah.
There's like a 99% chance that drugs were also involved, so the dude probably wasn't even thinking straight. God, there's so many drugged out homeless people around my office. Anyway, property management said that they're looking into like gating off the front area and maybe also the back area, so that would be fantastic if that happens. Because if there's like fucking shit through the mail slot next or something, then I might be out of there. So, yeah, that was my week. Good old pee through the mail slot. What's any bodily functions happening near you, Christopher?
Fortunately, no. I don't think so.
Let's say unfortunately.
Well, it'd make for an interesting story, at least.
Depends on the bodily function.
Yeah,
I guess.
That's fair.
It's entirely dependent on that.
That's true. No, we're recording on Saturday night when we usually record on Friday nights because I had my company Christmas party last night, which, I feel like I realize this every year, but company Christmas parties kind of suck. That might be in part because of my social anxiety, but I feel like it's my company. All the people that come to the Christmas party come from 3 different locations, so like half the people I don't even know. So I end up standing in a circle with the people that I do know, like fucking high school or something. And I don't know. It was not a bad time. Like I'm glad I got to have a couple drinks and having some nice food and chat with people that I like, but it's just like I feel like I go because I feel like I have to go, and then it's like, oh, it's a party, but aren't parties supposed to be fun? And I don't know. It was not. I don't want to say it was not as fun as I expected, because I don't know that I expected it to be a ton of fun. But every year I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to this Christmas party, and then I'm like, oh, this kind of blows.
Are you drinking? Maybe you should drink.
There was some drinking, and that definitely helped. But
all right,
I'd rather have been at home drinking and playing video games. That sounds like more fun to me.
I work with 2 other people, one of whom is my sister, and every year my boss invites us to a Halloween party, and every year I make up an excuse not to go. So I won't even go to like a fucking party for the one other person I don't live with that I work with. So can't even imagine a Christmas party.
I don't mind our Christmas parties. I actually kind of like them, but I'm not going this year. I just don't feel like it. It's just, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of like you were saying earlier, you know, I look forward to it, and then the day of, I'm like, I almost want to blow it off. And I didn't, you know, I'm glad I went, but I'm glad I don't have to go for another year. And I'm sure I'll look forward to it again next year, and it'll probably still suck.
Yeah, probably.
But that's probably the biggest thing since the last time we recorded for me.
We're bored. We never have anything going on, and then we're like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed with all the social things I have to do.
It's true.
Life sucks. I drove out to my mom's for Thanksgiving, and this year nobody showed up, which is funny. I was the only good kid who actually went to fucking Thanksgiving. Last year there was probably like 10 other people there besides my mom and her husband and me, and this year it's just us. But more food for me.
That's right.
Jackie and I go out to dinner for Thanksgiving because our whole families are in Connecticut, so it's kind of nice just being the 2 of us. You know, when we were together in like high school and college, you know, we'd have to go to her parents for Thanksgiving, and then go to her grandparents for Thanksgiving, and go to my parents for Thanksgiving, and it's so nice not having to deal with all that crap anymore. You know, that's not to say I don't miss my family. I do, but you know, I know everybody's really excited to see their family and on Thanksgiving, and it's just, I'm so happy not to have to deal with the hassle. I'll see them another day.
That's Megan and I. We got this perfect split. We don't dash around. We spend Thanksgiving with her family, Christmas with my family. That's it. The end. We don't go all over the place on the same day, because that sounds like a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good split.
It works out well for us, just the way you know, her family seems to appreciate Thanksgiving more, seems to do more for Thanksgiving in terms of getting together and eating than they do for Christmas, and my family does more for Christmas. So it just seems to work out. It works out well for us. But yeah, no, I'm not going to dash around all over the place. When you go out to eat, like are there places? Are you making some poor young teenager work on Thanksgiving?
I mean, we go to a restaurant, so somebody has to work. We go to Maggiano's, which is like a fucking Olive Garden or something. It's not great, and I feel like anytime I tell people this, I have to I justify it. I'm like, I don't normally go to chain restaurants, guys. You know, I realize that the food sucks, but we went there the first year we had moved here. We went there with Jackie's dad, and we went there the next year with Jackie's dad, and he's since passed away. And it's just like, it's a tradition. You know, we go to this same place every year, even though it's not that great. And I feel like that's what Thanksgiving is. Like, you eat a dry ass turkey just because that's what you do.
What kind of fucked up Thanksgivings you got?
Dry ass turkey.
Dry ass turkeys. He's in Wisconsin. He's in the land of dairy farms and depression.
I've never been a big fan of Thanksgiving, but no, it's good. It's nice going out, but yeah, there are poor teenagers bringing out our food, and I feel bad for them. But at least they're making good money.
Not enough to stay home.
Not enough to not go.
One time when I was like maybe 6, I spent Thanksgiving at like a Denny's in fucking Hollywood. So that's that was my.
That's from the Santa Claus starring Tim Allen. Nice try.
No, what the hell are you talking about? That's my beat-ass dad fucking just going, let's go to the... Okay.
Did you knock him off the roof, too?
First of all, he's all like, let's go to the La Brea Tar Pits, buddy. And, okay, and the La Brea Tar Pits that he took me to, quote-unquote, was just, like, at the area around, like, the actual museum and stuff where there's just fucking... I don't know if there still is, but there's just, like, oil seeping up, like, in grass areas, like, off by the sidewalks and shit. And then, like, fucking 15 years later, I found out there was, like, a museum with big-ass tar pits and all this other stuff. I was like, what the fuck did my dad even take me to? Well, I don't. And then we had fucking Thanksgiving at Denny's. So that was...
What did you order?
Fish.
It wasn't Moons Over My Hammy?
No, I don't know. I think it was just a diner, maybe not a Denny's, but it was a shitty.
This story just gets worse and worse. Your dad told me
knock off Denny's.
Yeah, it was just...
He went to Donnie's.
Oh my god.
You couldn't even get real Denny's. You know what's Donnie's for Thanksgiving?
It was whatever. I didn't know it was weird at the time. It's one of those looking back things. It's one of those looking back things that I just realized how messed up it all was. Anyway.
Now that we're all thoroughly bummed about our families and friends and Thanksgiving and bummed the shit out of our listeners, you all want to talk about some video games?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Please.
All right, good. Yeah, we'll change the subject a little bit. So I've actually been playing a few things. I started Wolfenstein: The New Order, which is...
that's the previous one, right?
Yeah, that's the one that came out before the new Wolfenstein, which is the new Colossus.
Did you kill the dog?
I don't know what that means.
All right.
I haven't finished the game yet.
There's
robot dogs. I fucked up some robot dogs. I did do that.
I feel like these titles are some Planet of the Apes shit, like where you can't. I never know which one is the first one and which one is the second one.
Yeah, because there's actually three of them. There's the New Order, and then there's the Old Blood. And I think the Old Blood is... It's not really an expansion to the New Order. It's like a companion game. It's like Majora's Mask to Ocarina of Time, maybe. That's my understanding. But the New Order and the Old Blood were were on sale on Black Friday in like a 2-pack. I think $20 or something like that. So it was a good deal. I got that because I do plan on playing the new Colossus when it comes out on Switch.
Oh, that's the one with dogs. Okay, never mind.
That's okay. Well, I don't know anything about the dogs.
There was a controversial thing in the game. But go ahead.
I see. I haven't played... My cat is yowling. I don't know if you can hear this cat. It's driving me up a wall.
That's cute.
I cannot.
Okay, good. Hopefully it doesn't show up in the recording, but...
Hey, my dog barks like half the show, so...
That's true. No, he doesn't bark that much.
I try to mute it when he does, but anyway, back to the video games.
Back to the video games. I wish Megan would totally do something about this. She's going to listen to the episode later, but Megan, why don't you do it, Megan? This is a message from the past. Please do something about Aki. Oh my god, I can't even do this podcast. It's fucking me up.
It's funny because we can't hear the cat, so it just seems like you're just like a crazy person. You're hearing some cat that's not there.
He yowls. So
Wolfenstein, the Phantom Cat.
So anyway, the New Order. I didn't play that much of it, but so far it plays like a first-person shooter from like the early 2000s. Very straightforward. It's got like vehicle segments and like stealth segments, and it's very actiony, and it doesn't hide that. Like I'm dual wielding like assault rifles and just shooting dudes, and I like it. It's actually pretty good. I'm looking forward to playing more of the series.
That sounds fun. I want to dual wield fucking guns and shoot people. There's like how's the health system in this game?
So you have health and armor, which is I think pretty traditional Wolfenstein, and I think they go up to 100. I think you can overcharge your health, so you can pick up more. If you're at 100, you can pick up more health. And I don't know if there's like a ceiling after 100, but when you pick up the more health, if you pick up like a health kit or whatever that's worth 25, it'll put your health at 125, but it'll slowly tick down back to 100. And if you take some sort of damage in that time frame, it'll be, mitigated based on however much you overcharged.
But you actually pick up health. You don't hide behind cover and wait for your fucking body to Wolverine itself.
Oh, yes. That is the case. Yep.
Right.
Yep. There seems to be a very simplistic skill tree. Like I said, I haven't played enough of it to really understand it, but I think it's dead simple. I don't think you gain experience and gain perks or whatever. I think it's just you do a bunch of actions, and if you do them enough, it just unlocks a new ability. So the one that I did was again fairly early on. I'm dual wielding these assault rifles, and I'm reloading them. I'm reloading dual wielding. And I think I reloaded while dual wielding 10 times, and then unlocked the perk that I can reload faster if I'm dual wielding. And that's it. That's all there is to it. You don't do anything else.
Cool.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I kind of like that. You can look forward to gaining new abilities, but you don't really have to do a bunch of bullshit to get them.
Just to intercut into there, I'm playing Battlefront 2 right now. And you could get cool perks if you open up a loot crate and get a star card and equip it to your character. Or you could get crafting parts and buy it, but crafting parts are hard to come by. But you could get them from loot crates. So I prefer your method where you just do the thing and then you unlock the perks.
Yeah, I think you'd like this game. I think you should check it out.
I might own it.
Which means you do own it. You should play it sometime.
All right.
I played a little bit more of Prey, the new Prey. And I don't know if we were recording the podcast at the time when I first played it earlier this year. I can't remember. But there was a lot that I liked about it, but man, there's just some things I did not like about it. The game did not click with me. But I see people talking about it in terms of not necessarily game of the year, but maybe in a top 10 for 2017. And I'm sitting there thinking, what did I fucking miss about this game? I just see people whose opinions I respect talking very positively about this game. And I'm like, man, I must have fucked up somewhere. So I picked it back up. And it's been months. And I'm enjoying it, actually. I may have been, I want to say mistaken. I don't think an opinion can be mistaken necessarily. But I may have been a bit rash in... stopping playing. I think part of it has to do with perspective, because it's an immersive sim, so along the lines of Deus Ex or BioShock, Dishonored, games like that. And I think I approached it more like BioShock. It's very reminiscent of BioShock in the sense that you're in an enclosed, isolated space, so you're not under the ocean, but you are in a space station. And you don't have plasmids, but you do have neuromods. So there's a lot that's very similar to BioShock. And of course, there's hacking skills. You can hack turrets or whatever. So there's that sort of stuff. But structurally, it's not very much like BioShock. BioShock is sort of compartmentalized. Particularly the second one. The second one is very linear. Once you leave an area, you can't go back to it. BioShock 1, you can, but there's not always a reason to go back to it. So you wouldn't necessarily call it an open game, even though it is. It's because the structure of the game is very compartmentalized, very almost level-based. Prey is not. Prey is closer to Deus Ex in that regard, where the game's throwing subquests and side quests, all these different errands and stuff at you. There's all these different characters, and that's not like BioShock. BioShock doesn't have side quests and stuff like that. So I think the gap between what I thought the game was and what the game actually is was frustrating me, because I was playing it more like BioShock when that's not what the game is. So I think that change in perspective has really helped me enjoy it more. But it's very slow going for me. It's a scary game. I don't do well with scary games. Very tense. I play for 20 minutes. I'm sweating profusely, and I just can't. I don't know. 20 minutes. It's just I made it 2 rooms and I'm done. I got to save and turn it off.
I had to. I don't do well with scary games. I had to stream Fatal Frame 4 on Twitch in order to even just make any headway in that game. Because any other time I try to play it, I would just stop after like not even 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because that shit is fucking terrifying.
I don't blame you. Praise, especially early on. There's alien life forms in this game called Typhon, and probably like the lowest level and one of your earliest ones you encounter are called mimics, and mimics can disguise themselves as literally any in-game object. And so you enter a room creeping, swinging your fucking wrench and hitting everything, every object that isn't nailed down, because there's a good chance it's a mimic. And the objects will flutter. So sometimes they'll kind of like just jitter around. And so like
just to fuck with you.
Oh my god, just to fuck with you because then it's a mimic. If it jitters, it's a mimic. Okay. But like you don't always. I mean, you start second guessing yourself to like, did I see that? Because they can disguise those things as things you can pick up as like med kits or something. Like, did that med kit move? Or if you get overzealous to pick up, you run over to the med kit. Yeah, I'm going to get this thing. That thing is going to jump up and eat your face.
That reminds me of Fatal Frame 4 again, because in Fatal Frame 4 there's like items you could pick up, right? And you have to hold down a button to pick them up, and it's like this really slow grab to the item. And as you're going to grab the item, though, a ghost hand like might come out and grab you. And it's just like, why do you want to fuck with me even more while I'm trying to get items in the game?
That is fucked up.
Yep.
Plus, like the generic like humanoid typhons, I think they're called phantoms. They are very creepy. They're very creepy. They're humanoid. They stand upright, but they're hazy and misty, almost like a dream. They are very dreamlike. And just seeing them, like you'll be walking down a hallway, and then in the distance you just see one sort of like Sasquatch walk its way past the end of the hallway, and you're like, shit. And the music and stuff will reflect that. You hear like boom when you see it walk by, and you're like, oh fuck me. And being an immersive sim, as many immersive sims do, like you don't always have the most resources you want to have. I am not at a point in this game where I'm the one man army like you can be at the end, by the middle of BioShock. I'm still counting my bullets. I'm still counting my med kits. So one of these things walk by. I mean, it could be a battle of attrition. You're going to put a bunch of bullets in that thing, and you're going to consume a med kit or two. So it can be stressful. It can be stressful. But there's a lot of like world building in this space station. It's really clever. Some of the world building they've done, like just the structure of it, in the sense that there's a lot of Art Deco BioShock looking shit. But apparently, my understanding is, maybe I'm getting this wrong, because it's been a while since I played the beginning of the game, but I think like the core of the space station was actually built by Russians, and they called it the Cage, which I think they call it Kletka. And so like when you move towards the center, actually when you're on the outer edges of the space station, it looks new and modern, has that nice brassy Art Deco look. But as you move inward, like the structure, like the rooms and the structure in the hallways, they start looking older and older and older until you get towards the center, and it's all very utilitarian and mechanical, and all the signs are in Russian. It's really interesting the way they do stuff like that. So, I'm really glad I gave it a second chance, because
this game sounds cool, man.
I'm liking it a lot more, and it's probably pretty inexpensive right now. It was like $15 on Black Friday. So, what'd you say?
I said, I was just at the price. No, because
I thought you said I have it, and I'm like, yeah.
No, I don't have it.
Are you sure?
Just that, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Fucking the big name games just drop in price so fast these days.
Yeah, they do.
They sure do.
I mean, what are your thoughts on immersive sims? Do you like BioShock or Deus Ex or anything like that?
I love BioShock for the environments, and that's pretty much it. The gameplay was... I played through just electrocuting and hitting people with wrenches, but I loved going through all the different environments and everything. I just thought the gameplay was ass. And Deus Ex was... I played one of the older ones, and that shit was just too... it was over my head for me. Like, I was there's like too many ways to get into this building. I was like, which way do I go? Like too many choices. I get overwhelmed in games with too many choices. And then like, what should I upgrade on my body? And I remember I was in an area with a bunch of turrets, and they shot out my robot legs, and then I was crawling around.
That sounds like Deus Ex 1. That sounds like the first one.
Yeah, I think this was the first game. I got it free online someplace, and then I was just like, fuck this game.
It's not quite as complicated as that. The Prey is not as complicated as that. And it does have, fantastic, like, environmental storytelling in the same way that BioShock does.
Yeah, I appreciate that aspect of BioShock.
I'm going to tell you that the combat is not great. It's a game that does rely pretty heavily on. I wouldn't say relies heavily on combat. That may not be entirely true, but it does have combat is a significant component, and it's not great combat. I won't lie to you, which sucks, right? Yeah, it's one of those things like it's a bummer, but the rest of the game is pretty good. I mean, at some point you can even unlock Typhon powers, but by using those neuromods. Oh, you're gonna love you're gonna love the neuromods. Neuromods, Seth. Yeah. They work by injecting material into your eyeball.
Oh God!
Fucking shit!
I knew you were gonna.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, dude, and thankfully, normally it doesn't show. It does show it the first time. The first time using Neuromod, yep, it puts that right up to the camera and just jabs a needle right into your face.
Oh God, I'm squirming just hearing you talk about it.
Ugh. That's how it gets into your brain.
Well, I'm not buying this game anymore.
It doesn't do it after that. It doesn't do it after the first time, but yeah, that's how that works.
Horrible.
Ugh.
Horrible. Worst game I've ever heard of.
3 out of 10. Fuck this. That's eyeball stuff. I don't like it.
Nah. What else? What else, Craigie?
A shit ton of Skyrim.
Skyrim.
I play a lot of Skyrim. Here's the funny thing. I wouldn't even call Skyrim a good game. The combat is straight fucked. The story doesn't make any sense. I don't know. The story's boring as hell. The setting is boring as hell. This is like the setting is like, it's like someone jerking off Tolkien under the table on their first date at Applebee's. It's not. This is so boring. And people tell me, oh, well, the lore. And I'm like, fucking drown me.
Well, why the hell are you playing so much Skyrim, Craig?
I didn't get done telling you how much of it sucks. The quest log sucks. The map sucks. A lot of this game sucks. But honestly, there are parts of it that just still come together. It's like how much, how much do you want to do chores and then feel good about finishing those chores? And that's in a beautiful setting, like in a beautiful world. Like, how much do you want to do chores, like in Finland? And that's the game. And it turns out I want to do chores a whole lot. I want to do the chores. Even the stuff that's supposed to be fun. Like, it has one of the expansions. Well, it has all the expansions, but one of them is called Hearthfire, and you get to build houses. And even that is the most boring fucking thing. Like,
what the fucking Habitats for Humanity expansion?
Well, they're for you. They're your houses. You get to build, like, kind of like in Fallout 4. Where,
so you can build yourself a house.
I like that kind of stuff.
Not you can build houses. You're not like traveling around building houses.
It's not a fucking charity. It's my house.
This is not Habitat for Humanity.
You're like,
you
can build houses.
You're right. Well, you can build several. You can own several houses. Like, you can be a fucking baron or whatever. But,
all right.
But even that is like, it's all prefabricated. Like, you have to have a shit ton of supplies, and you just go to a drafting table and like, build me a fucking kitchen, and it goes to one place. Like, it's in a preset place, and then even when you start adding like furniture and decorations or whatever to the house, they automatically spawn in on predetermined places. So it's just a resource dump. And yeah, I mean, I dumped my resources. I fucking did it, but I spent hours doing it too.
God damn it!
This sounds awful.
Play a different game, Craig.
I don't know how to explain it. Like, man, the combat is so bad in this game. Remember when this game?
I think it's called Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. I mean, but I feel like I mean, that's the thing, though. I'm just being honest with you. Like, I think the game is not great. I wouldn't call it an awful game, but the game's not great. I'm still enjoying myself. I have to be honest. I am enjoying myself. I remember when this game first came out, and Bethesda was like, the combat is so much more visceral than Oblivion. Do you remember that? You remember they used that word visceral? And
everybody was using visceral at that time, yeah.
Everyone was saying visceral. Bethesda was saying it was visceral. The journalists were saying visceral. This game is fucking rock'em sock'em fucking robots. Like, this is not visceral at all.
Yeah, I picked up Skyrim last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever the fuck it was. And I played it for like an hour, and I had pretty much the reaction you had. This game sucks. Except then I stopped playing it. So I played it for like an hour, and I was like, this setting is just like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or something, and the setting did not seem interesting. The gameplay, I think it's like you were saying with Mario Odyssey. You know, in that game, the moment-to-moment gameplay is so much fun that it keeps you going. And when I started playing Skyrim, the moment-to-moment gameplay was not fun, and that's why I didn't want to keep playing it.
It's not fun.
And I'm sure there's a good game there. I mean, but I'm not sure it's a game for me. So.
Is there? Neither of you are like making an argument that there's a good game there.
I was hoping he was going to sell me on this game and that I should go back to it, but I'm not. I'm feeling really that I made the right decision in not having played more than an hour of it.
I mean, obviously, millions of people love it, you know, but I'm not going to say I don't love it. Like I said, I am enjoying myself. I'm playing a ton of this game, but I honestly couldn't tell you why. It's just that compulsion about like, oh, the quest log is so shitty. The quest log is a piece of fucking garbage. It's just a giant laundry list with no organization. There's no like, oh, here's your primary quest. Here's a quest from expansions. Here, like, there's nothing. It's just, there's no way to parse it out. It's just a giant fucking laundry list because someone said, hey, mate, get me some meat. And then it just gets added, like, get meat for Torbjorn in Winterfell or whatever. And, like, that's your quest. And it just gets tossed in there. It's just trash. It's so hard to go through. But doing those quests it's just a compulsion about like just checking those things off and then getting a bunch of loot and selling it, and you're like, well, now I got thousands of gold I don't fucking have anything to spend on.
This sounds horrible. This is
yeah, people love it though. I look at it in contrast to like Fallout, and I have no idea how people prefer Elder Scrolls over Fallout. I mean, I can understand the idea that like people prefer fantasy over sci-fi. I can totally respect that. I like both. But just to me, like Fallout has way better like world building. Like just everything in Skyrim is like a stone house with a straw roof. Like there's no storytelling. There's nothing to tell. You go in Fallout and you explore like these places, and like they were like unique places. You know, just the combat the combat still sucks in Fallout actually, but it's slightly better when you have like VATS. You know, that makes it slightly more strategic. There's actually ranged weapons in Fallout. There's the range. God damn. You gotta fight dragons in Skyrim. You can't fight these fucking things. The bow and arrow fucking sucks ass in this game. And the spells, man. The spells that have like range consume way too much mana to like make them effective. You fire 2 shots that dragons take a sliver of health, and now you got nothing to hit them with again. Yep. Yep, not a great game. I really truly don't think it's a great game, but just some of it comes together. I don't know. I'm enjoying myself. I don't know what else to say.
I don't want to hear about Skyrim anymore.
All right. Well, there's nothing really. I mean, it's like a 6-year-old game. There's nothing else I can say. I just wanted to point out that like here's a game I don't really like that much, but still playing it, still doing it. I'll probably play it later tonight when I'm done doing this podcast. Here's the thing. Well, here's what I think it might be, and why it never really resonated for me on console is that in these Western RPGs, particularly like these Bethesda ones, there's a shit ton of downtime. You know, people say like, "Oh, I played 150 hours of Skyrim." Yeah, it was 75 hours of fucking jerking off. You didn't do anything. You're going through menus. You're going to a shop and selling stuff and buying stuff. You're going through your skill tree. You're walking from point A to point B with no enemies going on. Like, there's just a lot of like gameplay that maybe it's engaging in its own right, but just nothing's really happening, right? And so, if I can do that while watching BoJack Horseman, I'm gonna fucking do that while watching BoJack Horseman. It makes that a lot more palatable. If I had to take over my whole TV to just, sell a bunch of like shitty boots I stole to some guy, like I don't want to do that.
You have validated my decision not to go back to this game, so thank you.
Hey, I do what I can.
What's that? Our first Ludowave radio giveaway is Chris's copy of Skyrim.
No, I'm not going to give away my copy of Skyrim to a listener. I traded it into GameStop today.
He already got rid of it. He's like, I feel better about it already. Incredible. And I guess the last game I've been playing is Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. Are either of you playing this?
Yeah, I'm playing it.
I am not.
I wouldn't call it, much like Skyrim, I wouldn't call it a great game. But I still find myself playing it every day. It is a phone game with an Animal Crossing wrapper. It is not an Animal Crossing game with a phone wrapper. It's the other way around. Mm-hmm. It's definitely a phone game through and through. But it's still sort of cute, I guess. But it reduces Animal Crossing to its most mechanical aspects. It's almost like a cynical look at Animal Crossing. But I still like it, I guess.
It's so dumb. I'm compelled to play because I want all these fucking Christmas items that they have going on right now.
I knew of all people who was going to try and get all those stupid Christmas decorations, it was you.
Man, I fucking did the math on this shit. All right, so you need an item that you only get right now during the holidays called candy canes. Well, they are candy canes. To build these Christmas items. And you need 1,100 candy canes total to make everything. And then you could get like a bonus like packs, like 20, 30 candy canes at a time for like doing specific quests during this period. But even after you do them, you still need to get 30 plus candy canes a day in order to get everything. And the only way you could get those is by doing just missions for different animals and hoping that they give you like a candy cane, because that's not even guaranteed. Like you might get anywhere between like 1 and, if you're lucky, 6 for doing a mission for a camper, another camper out there, one of the animals. And it's going to drive me crazy trying to get enough candy canes for everything. Or I could
I've done missions I've done all the missions that I can do for an animal in a given period, and they still don't give me no candy canes, cheap fucks.
You don't get any candy canes? God, I get candy canes from people.
I'm just saying I do, but there are times where like, what do you do? Like, how many things can you turn in? 3 or 4 at a time?
Yeah, 3.
3. I'll do all 3, and I'll get 0 fucking candy
sometimes
canes.
You get nothing, and that fucking annoys me so much. I'm like, what? But sometimes I'll have somebody give me 6, and I'm like, yes, you are the fucking best. Thank you for all these candy canes. And it's stupid. This game is stupid, though.
It fucking is.
It's a horrible game. I went to the shovel quarry for the first time because you either need to spend 20 leaf tickets to get to the shovel quarry, and I'm going to get to leaf tickets in a fucking second. You either need 20 leaf tickets or you need like 5 friends' help or whatever, and that's bullshit because nobody's looking at their friends list to see if you want to go to the shovel quarry.
Yeah, there's no notification that a friend needs your help, and I think that's intentional so that you spend the leaf tickets instead.
Yeah, like if you happen to look at your friends list, you'll see like a little shovel icon next to their thing, and then you got to click on it and be like, yeah, but like it doesn't notify you. Anyway, and you get a shovel, and there's like rocks, and then you hit 5 rocks of whatever rocks you want, and you'll get either gold or silver, or I guess maybe a rarer gem, and then fucking Lloyd, the little fire hydrant guy, will give you whatever item he'll give you based on how many. It's just random bullshit. It's like stupid. It's stupid. And the leaf tickets, the prices on these leaf tickets is ridiculous. Right now, there's 2 items that you could get. One is Tom Nook's chair, and one is KK Slider's chair that you could get exclusively using leaf tickets. And each one costs 250 leaf tickets, right? The highest pack that you could buy, so it's 500 leaf tickets total. The highest pack that you could buy of leaf tickets is $40, and you get 1,200 leaf tickets. So, like, and that's like you get bonus leaf tickets for buying like the bigger packs. So that's like over $8 for each of these items or one of these items. It's like $8 to get a fucking chair for Tom Nook or KK Slider. And I grinded these leaf tickets out just from playing a bunch and doing all the missions I could and leveling up my character a bunch. And I'm like level 17 or 18 in the game, and that's how long it took me to get enough Leaf tickets to get these 2 items. So it's bullshit, and the Leaf ticket prices are too fucking much. And the game's stupid. Otherwise, I mean, you really don't do anything.
In conclusion, this game sucks. Love Seth.
Yes, it sucks. It sucks. It's a stupid game, and I'm going to keep playing it so I could get all these goddamn Christmas items for free. Because fuck, I'm not paying money for these goddamn anythings.
No, I haven't paid anything either, and I probably won't. But do you play a lot of phone games, Seth? Is this like?
I have played all of the Nintendo ones, and
I guess games with economies like this. I guess I'm saying.
I used to play like a Frozen Freefall, which is like a match 3 game, but it also has like the locked out time things, or you could spend whatever, blah blah blah, and all that shit. So, yeah, I'm not unfamiliar with it.
I think it's just a matter of like. For completion, these games are not for completionists. Like, it's just a matter of like determining, like, oh well, I want these, 2 or 3 or 4 things or whatever, and I can live without this, that, or the other thing. I mean,
I'm getting them all. Fuck you.
God bless you, man. I hope you do, but that's the average person. That's if you have that self control versus buying Leaf tickets, because obviously they're betting on that there are people that don't have that self control.
Yeah. And the Leaf tickets are used for, like, everything. If you don't have enough crafting material, i.e. candy canes, then you could spend Leaf tickets instead to craft the items. And if you... do you need Leaf tickets to... I don't know. You need Leaf tickets to, like, use your nets in the fishing instead of using the fishing rod. You could catch more fish, pour honey in the whatever, and the tree stuff to get more bugs. There's just Leaf tickets all over. Pimp out your vehicle. There's, like, a bunch of vehicle paint jobs and stuff that you could only get with Leaf tickets. So they're definitely banking on people buying these Leaf tickets.
Yeah, to me, like, there's just not a lot that I feel like compelled to use on my Leaf tickets. Like, I have like 400 kicking around right now. I'm not going to do anything with them.
You don't want KK Slider in your campsite?
Well,
Greg?
I might do KK. I mean, that's the only one that I might do something with. But I don't really care that much, Like, I play the game, I go out and I collect all the fish and fruit and bugs or whatever that are hanging around. I do the chores. I level up a few things, and then I might craft something. And then I'll go to the marketplace. And I'm like, oh, this is a nice end table, and I'll buy it, and I'll go put it somewhere. Like, it's not... And I guess that's easy for me because, 1, I'm not a completionist, and number 2, I'm microtransactions are not super tempting to me. So I'm able to play the game that way and not really be that concerned. But it also does suck the life out of it because it's like, oh, cool, I'm just not, like, it's great, I got something new. I'm not necessarily working towards anything, So I think that in that respect, it does make it seem a little less exciting. But on the other hand, I'm not wasting money or time I don't have.
One of the things I do like about the game that I think that they could implement in a better way on the next Animal Crossing full game that they make. I like the friendship level that you have with the animals. I like that the more like you help them, the higher your friendship level goes up. Even though it doesn't really affect this game in any way, except you get like some items every time your friendship level goes up. But I think they could do something more interesting with that, like maybe different events or I don't know, just items you could get or things you could do with the animals in the next Animal Crossing that they make.
They kind of do that, don't they? Is that like isn't that what determines like whether they move out or whether they want to come over and hang out or not? Kind of.
Maybe, but those are annoying things, and I want to see it like visibly.
I want good things.
Yeah, I want a number above their heads that tell me how good of a friend I am with them.
Oh, I don't want the number. I think the numbers are fine here in the phone game, like telling you like, oh, it'll be 3 hours until the fruit comes back, or like this is what friendship level you are. I think it's totally fine in a phone game. I think that makes sense. That's where that fits. But I think like in a proper Animal Crossing game, I actually I don't want the numbers. I want it to be represented to me more organically.
Do you not assign friendship numbers to your friends, Craig?
I don't like people, so it's all 0 for everyone.
Well, you're going down to a 3. Chris, you're up to a 4.
I guess I'll have to go download the game then.
I don't know. I guess I don't want the numbers like on the fruit and everything, but I like the friendship level.
No, I like the idea that you're presenting, but just not the idea that the number is visible. You know, I like the idea that like the more you interact with an animal, the more you get out of that. You know, the actual relationship blossoms out of that. But I don't want to know the number. That's not very Animal Crossing to me.
Okay. All right. Just trying something new here.
That's fine.
Yeah. Is that all you've been playing, Craig?
Yeah. Why don't you pick up from there?
All right. I was blasting on Gravity Rush 2 a little bit last week. And still, I don't think it's like overall a great game. But holy shit, the fucking ending of Gravity Rush 2 is so satisfying, and it wraps up. It comes out of nowhere, and it just wraps up like everything that was left hanging in the first Gravity Rush. And it was a very satisfying play just for that, and it just felt so good. It was really, and I don't want to obviously spoil it, but if you play Gravity Rush 1 and you have unanswered questions and you don't feel like playing Gravity Rush 2, just fucking go on YouTube and watch that shit or something, because it's good stuff.
I think that's what I'm going to do, because I actually played all of Gravity Rush 1 and really enjoyed it, but I can't tell you a fucking thing that happened in that game. That part almost seemed nonsensical.
It's a bunch of crazy, and they make it make sense at the end of the, and it literally comes at the end of the game. Like there's, like I thought I beat the game. There was credits and everything, and then all of a sudden there was like 3 hours left of game. So it was there's a bunch of post credit.
It's like, oh, by the way, it's a dream, and you're like, fuck.
No, it's like, oh, by the way, here's the actual ending to the first Gravity Rush that we're now putting at the end of Gravity Rush 2. And I've been playing Battlefront 2, like I mentioned. Let me do the single player campaign first. It's bad. It's a bad campaign. And there's good aspects of it. You play as like an Imperial officer commander chick, and it's first like the game starts off like you're intentionally kidnapped, and then like just so you can delete something on this rebel base, and you sneak out, and you can play in first person or third person. I feel it's better to play first person for the shooter parts because it whatever. And it's like just really not it. The shooting doesn't feel great. The mobility doesn't feel good. Like everybody walks at a goddamn leisurely pace in this game. Like everybody shoot. Like it's not even a brisk walk. Like like you literally have to use the goddamn left click run nonstop in this game, or else you're just like fucking strolling down the beach pace. So you've got to sneak out of the space. You have this droid named Droid on your back who like comes out. Yeah, it's very. They went all out with this one. And like the droid can help you like hack open doors or hack terminals or whatever. And then
the droid, he has a name, Seth.
Okay, fine, Droid. Droid can help you do these things. And the more people you kill yourself, like by shooting them or sneaking up behind them and hitting them over the head, then like for some reason that powers up Droid, and then he could you could send him out to like electrocute people too. And there's like a group of people standing next to each other, then the electricity will go through all of them. And it's a quick way to take a bunch of people out, which is kind of cool. So whatever, you're going through this game, and then you go to Endor, and Endor really sucks. It's like big and open, but there's nothing to do, and there's some rebels to shoot, and once again the shooting just doesn't feel great or anything. It just feels all very mechanical. Anyways, there's a bunch of boring stuff, and all of a sudden this is early spoilers, whatever, all of a sudden you like get to a chapter very early on, and you're playing as Luke motherfucking Skywalker, post Return of the Jedi. He's got his sweet Jedi powers, his green lightsaber. I'm like, oh fuck, this is awesome. What am I going to do with Luke? You go into a cave and you fight a bunch of bugs. Like, just fucking giant bugs, and you're just slashing away at them with your lightsaber, and he looks like an idiot because, like, he's... God damn it. It was like something out of Super Star Wars. It was like Super Star Wars level of stupid-ass enemies where you're just fighting, like, fucking flying things and sand things, and just for no goddamn reason, and that's what I felt like here. And
that's canon now. That's canon in this new Star Wars universe. Where post Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker was a bug exterminator.
Yes. God damn. There's flying segments in the game. The ship segments are actually really fun. I like those. So that's a positive. They did the ship segments good. And that's all I want to talk about at the fucking single player because it's not great. The online multiplayer, I've only played the Galactic Battle, which is like the big 20 versus 20 battles. The scenarios are fucking awesome. They're like super well done. It's either parts from the movies or parts that are hinted at in the movies. Like there's the Battle of Hoth, and if you're on the Imperial side, you got to make sure the AT-ATs get to the Rebel base so they can blow up the generator. Then you got to like take over the base, and if you're on the Rebel side, you got to stop the AT-ATs or whatever. There's stuff on Naboo with like the stupid Roger dudes, trade ships, and you got to like either stop them or whatever. There's taking over. What's the bar Maz maybe from the new movie?
Oh, Maz Kanata.
Maz.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So there's like the whole takeover of there's the whole takeover of her bar and stuff from the latest movie. And so just like stuff from all the different periods of all the different movies and stuff, and it's all super cool. And there's four different character types you could choose from. There's like an assault guy who's just like really basic run and gun. There's the heavy who is a little bit slower. He has bigger guns. There's a sniper class, and there's an officer class. And the officer class like boosts people and gives them different perks and stuff. So there's a few different ways to play, and as you're playing, you like earn credits for different things that you do, like you know, kills or going after objectives. It'll like give you some points, and then once you die and go back to your character select screen, because you just keep respawning over and over. There's like 100 pool of characters, and for like your entire team. Once that pool runs out, then you lose automatically. But if you like make it to pass certain objectives, and the pool replenishes somewhat. Anyways, when you die, you select you could spend your points on like different characters, like more buffed up characters for whatever team you're on, or the special hero characters like fucking Luke Skywalker, Kylo Ren, Rey, all these, Darth Vader, Yoda, Emperor Palpatine. But a lot of those are locked. And you have to buy them in the game with credits, which is the whole thing. And you get credits so goddamn slow in this game. I think it's like 10,000 credits to buy some of these characters, and you get like on average 300 credits for like a 10-plus minute game. So I don't understand how they expect you to get any of these except for loot crates, but fucking loot crate like monetary system shut down right now as well, and the loot crates are fucking. It's like 4,000 credits for a loot crate for like your basic 4 troopers, and you don't even know what's going to be in there. So,
once you buy a character for like 10,000 credits, is it permanently unlocked for you to use? Okay.
Yes. So you unlock that character, but then you have to like earn points in the match in order to use them.
Right. That part I understand, because it's almost like what's the game I'm thinking of here? Is it Counter-Strike, where like between matches you earn money during the game, and then between matches you spend it on like weapon upgrades or whatever. That's how Battlefront kind of works, right? When I'm asking, like that's how I remember like the first one working.
Okay. I mean, that's the first big game I've played like this, a first-person shooter of this kind. So I'm not hip on everything that's going on. I just wanted a Star Wars game. So once you like buy the characters though, then you have them forever. And then
I think that's how the first one worked too. You had to buy like weapons, and then you didn't have the weapon. You just had to spend credits on it during a match. It was a very strange system.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where this system gets even more fucked up, and I've read it's more fucked up than the first game. Is the star cards, and the star cards are cards. Every single class, including the heroes and just the basic 4 classes, have 3 star card slots that you could equip. And you get star cards from loot crates, or you could buy them using something called I don't even know what it's called, like parts. We'll just call it parts, all right? Scrap. I think it's scrap. So it was very confusing because at first only one slot for star cards is unlocked on each of the characters. I'm like, well, how do you unlock more slots? And it's like, and it says like you got to be level 10. I'm like, okay, well, I'm level 10 in the game, but no, that's not the level 10 that you want. That's like your overall level is level 10. Each character then has like their own level, and their level is based on the star cards you have. So, and each star card has I know this is boring and stupid, but each star card has like 4 levels. And let's say you have one 4-star star card for a character. That means that character is level 4. Now, if you have 1 4-level card and 1 2-level card, that means that character is level 6. So that's how that level system goes, which is really dumb. So that just means you need more star cards in order to unlock more slots. And star cards you get them from loot crates, or you could use scrap. And once again, loot crates cost a lot of credits, and scrap costs a lot of scrap, and they're both hard to come by. And the people who have better star cards than you, which is a decent amount, especially when you first start, are at a very good advantage over you. Like, there's a star card that makes it, because this game has like a health regenerative system where you stop getting shot, then you Wolverine back up. There's one star card that makes it so that you heal faster, like the town time after you get shot and when you start healing is quicker. And like for the lowest, it's like maybe 15% quicker, and for the highest level of the same star card, it's like 40% quicker. So
are these consumable, or are they equipped and they stay equipped?
They're equipped and they stay equipped, and whatever star cards you unlock, you just keep them forever, and you can switch them out whenever you want.
Yo, this game sounds fucked.
Yes. So like, if I'm in a firefight with a dude and he like runs behind a fucking, if he hides behind something and then I run up and start shooting him again, he could already be fucking have his health regenerated completely while I'm still at the lower health because I don't have the goddamn star card to heal myself 40% faster. And you could see the character star cards that they have who kill you, and then I'm just like looking at these things, I'm like, what the fuck, man? How am I supposed to compete with this? I'm just starting out. So it's really fucked. It's a really broken, fucked up system, which is like a shame because the battles and the scenarios themselves are really cool, and I feel like this is just dragging the entire thing down.
Yeah, the first one was a lot like that. I mean, not with these fucking bananas ass cards you get from loot crates, obviously, but like just the idea that you get dropped in these giant 20-on-20 battles, like on Endor or whatever, and it's really cool. They nail the Star Wars aesthetic, and it really feels. It's one of the few first-person shooters that I've played online that really feels like I'm in the middle of a battle because there's just so many people shooting everywhere. But that also means that some other jackass who's been playing the game way longer is just going to kill you dead within like 2 seconds. You spawn and then you're dead.
You get shot dead so fast when you start playing this game, and then you're going to start like learning to fucking hide behind everything and play like you could get killed any minute because you can. But yeah, fuck, the star card just unbalances everything. Like, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with this bullshit. And it makes an otherwise fun game, like, a lot less fun. Just because, especially when you're getting killed and you see, oh, this guy has all fucking 3 star cards at 4 max each, and how am I supposed to compete with that?
Spend money.
Yeah, exactly. Which you can't even do right now because they fucked their whole system. They fucked the whole fucking loot crate system, which is, fine. So anyway, I want to enjoy this game. But it's hard to with the unbalancedness of it. That's all I've been playing. So Chris can do his thing.
I could do my thing, yeah.
You could do your thing, Chris.
Yeah, I have been playing Horizon Zero Dawn, which I also picked up on a Black Friday sale. I think it was like $20. Speaking of games dropping in price really quickly. I really like this game. In contrast to Skyrim, which admittedly I did not give much of a chance before I threw it to the wind.
It sounds like you made the right call regardless.
Admittedly, I did not give it much of a chance, but I think I made the right decision based on my tastes. Horizon definitely seems more up my alley. Like it it grabbed me right away. In the world seems more interesting. It's a better looking game, obviously, because it's 6 years newer, but also just like the art direction is more interesting. Like you said, Skyrim seems more, just generic fantasy, at least to me. Whereas this is, you're in you're out in nature, and there's this technology component to it as well, and it blends together really well. And it's, it's not just technology; it's really, really cool art direction. That's the first thing that drew me to this game. I was initially planning to pick it up when it first came out, and then it launched the same week as Zelda, so that's why I waited. But it's really fun. It's been described kind of like an open world Tomb Raider. I think you said that when you talked about it previously, Craig. So I don't want to go over it too much, since obviously you already talked about it. But it's super cool. I really like the stealth components to it. A lot of the game is stealth. You're sneaking around in the grass and hunting these Zords, or whatever you want to call them.
Basically.
You can snipe them with your bow, or you can sneak up on them and jab your spear into them, or whatever you want to do. A lot of some of these stealth missions remind me of Metal Gear Solid 5, which was also an open world stealth game, where you could approach the area from any direction and decide which enemies you need to kill first, and kind of be strategic about it, which is definitely up my alley.
Are you talking about the bandit camps?
Yeah, the bandit camps, definitely.
Oh, I fucking love bandit camps. I'm not even stealthy. I'll fuck you up, fam. I'm gonna take all them bitches out. I don't care.
I find myself playing them like a mission in Fire Emblem, where I do something wrong and I end up resetting it and trying to kill them all without being spotted. But I like it's fun going out, just going between areas and hunting the monsters, and going to the bandit camps and going through the missions. Like, everything about this game to me is fun, and I don't want to keep comparing it to Skyrim, because, again, I don't have enough experience with Skyrim. But the world, the moment-to-moment gameplay, this game is just, I'm really digging it. I put I want to say 10 or 15 hours into it so far, so I'm not probably super far into it yet, but it's been great. I think the biggest thing that I haven't liked about it is the Uncharted style climbing. In part, probably due to the fact that we had Breath of the Wild earlier this year, and I just want to climb literally everything. And in an
that was my big frustration too, is going from Breath of the Wild, where I can climb anything, and then Horizon, where you can only climb very specific things.
Yeah, and I think for a game like Uncharted that works, because it's so linear. You're always being pointed in a certain direction. So, if you can't climb this wall over here, it doesn't matter, because you don't need to go over there. But in a game like Horizon, where the whole point is there's this open world and you can choose which direction you want to go, I think in a world that feels so big and real and all that, it makes it feel more manufactured, which I don't like. So I think part of it is that we had Breath of the Wild, but I also think it just doesn't fit for a game like this in just any way. So, but yeah, I really like it, and I'm looking forward to continuing with it. I'm glad I picked it up. The other thing I've been playing this week is Axiom Verge on Switch, which I played initially when it came out on PS4, and I loved it. But since it was getting a physical release, I was excited to pick it up again. This is obviously like a Metroid clone. There's so many Metroidvania style games out there, and this is not even Metroidvania. This is like straight up Metroid. It's a sci-fi 2D action thing, which is honestly, I was thrilled when it came out, because we hadn't had a 2D Metroid in so long. At this point, we've had Samus Returns, obviously, which is great, but I still really like Axiom Verge. Did you guys play Axiom Verge?
I have not.
I have, but I didn't finish it. I thought it was all right, but it didn't. I don't really have anything negative to say about it, but it didn't grab me.
Okay, that's fair. It did grab me, to be fair. Part of it is I'm really impressed by these games like this or Stardew Valley that are made by one guy. And that's not to say that I'm going to give it an edge because of that, but it is really impressive to look at a game like this or like Stardew Valley and just think of how it's just impressive to me. But yeah, it plays like Metroid, but I think also it does enough to stand out on its own. It has different weapons. I remember back on the 360, I played Shadow Complex, which was also very Metroid inspired, but that was like exactly Metroid. I mean, all the weapons were exactly. You had super missiles. You had the colored doors. This at least branches out a little bit from that. You've got different weapons. There's a gun you can shoot and then press the button again, and expands and shoots in different directions. You've got like not a flamethrower, but it'll drop a thing on the floor and shoot up a big pillar of fire, which is cool. And it's got that 8-bit aesthetic to it, but it still takes advantage of the hardware, where you'll have gigantic bosses and it'll zoom all the way out. You've got the glitching mechanic where the tiles will look like they're glitching from like you'd see on the NES, but there's actually an item you can use to affect those and find new areas and things like that. I really liked it on PS4, and I think the Switch version is also a great version. The biggest complaint I can say about it, which is pretty minor, all things considered, is that since it's a port from the PS4, the confirm button, the OK button, is mapped to B instead of A, and because on the PS4 that was the X button, and that's a confirm button on PS4, at least in the West. And it definitely has taken me some time to get used to that, because I'm so used to hitting A on Nintendo systems ever since the Super NES.
Why would they not switch that? Like, who uses B to confirm anything on a Nintendo system?
I do not get it.
That is bananas. So does A go back?
I believe so. Which is weird. You can customize the controls, but OK is connected to the jump button, so you have to move jump to A.
That's lame.
Which totally messes things up. So, but again, that's my biggest complaint about the game, and if that's that's the biggest problem I have with it, I'd say it's doing pretty well, at least for me. Again, not every game is for everybody, but Metroid games are some of my favorites, and I think this is a pretty good approximation of that. One thing that I think is cool, which is not necessarily related to the gameplay, but initially it was self-published when it came out digitally on PS4, and on the other systems as well, I think. And it's Badland Games is the publisher for the physical version, and the developer's son has like a rare neurological condition, and the publisher is donating the majority of their profits to a fund to fund his healthcare costs, which I thought was super cool.
That's cool. Yeah, so, that's really nice.
Well, obviously I'm already digging the game. It kind of made me feel a little better about having paid $40 for a game I already owned for $15. But yeah, I'm really digging it. If you haven't played it yet, obviously it's been out for like 2 years now, but this is definitely a good version of it. And it's great to have it on the go, too. If I could have every game on Switch, I would. But that's it for me.
Fucking Nintendo shill.
I am a Nintendo shill.
If I could have every game on Switch, I would. Then he's handed a big bag of money.
If only.
Traded in Skyrim, except for this one.
Okay, if I could have every good game on Switch.
Oh.
I mean, I've said this a million times, probably a million times on this podcast, but I've always liked having Nintendo systems. That's my main platform. But with the Switch, there's like a reason for it. It's not just being Nintendo fanboy. It's I like playing games on the go, and it's also it's nice to be able to have the option to play it on the TV or on the go. So I love my Switch.
Chill.
I wish I could be playing Horizon on my Switch, but I'll play it on the TV because it is beautiful.
All right, I'm tired of hearing about how much you want to play every game on the Switch.
Don't you want to play every game on the Switch, Seth?
Nah, not really.
All right, fine.
I just fucking play it like a console anyway. I don't take that shit out of the dock.
That's weird. I think I play more on the... No, maybe I do play it more on the go. I don't know. But I love having the option. It's awesome.
Do we have news?
We got a little bit of news.
What do we have for news?
We can talk about some news. Destiny 2 experience is being bad.
It's being bad.
Yeah, the UI is apparently being dishonest with experience stuff to get people to use loot boxes, which is bad.
Is this loot? No, I read like some dude like found this on Reddit or something, right? And then Bungie's all like, "Oh, whoops, this isn't showing right." And then they made it so like you need double the experience points than you needed to before. Craig plays Destiny.
Yeah. So what was happening is that I don't even know how anyone figured this out. They're like counting pixels on the EXP bar or something like that. But so essentially, what was happening was that they noticed that certain activities would gain different amounts of experience for like the same action, even though the UI was saying it was the same amount of experience. Again, I don't know how you come up with that. I would be lying if I said that let me rephrase that. I felt like that I was earning, I was gaining levels at very strange rates. So, I mean, I wouldn't say something felt like it was off, but yeah, I mean, it was clear to me that something was going on there. Bungie said, yep, that's totally happening. What's happening there is that we're weighting experience gains based on the activity. So if you're doing an activity that takes more time, like PvP Crucible, there's more of an investment there, we're going to give you more experience. If you're just grinding out public events, which take like 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to reward you with less experience. To me, that makes total sense. That's actually a very good explanation. The thing is that even though that balancing was happening on the back end, on the front end, what the player saw on the experience bar was lying to them. So that's a perfectly good explanation for what's happening there. Like, oh, our back end was doing this. We have a reason for that. The UI didn't reflect that. That's our bad. That's all that really should have happened there, in my opinion. But of course, when you level up, you earn a bright engram, which is basically a loot box. So of course, everyone's reaction goes to, you know, oh, well, this is obviously nefarious. I don't want, at the risk of sounding like a Destiny apologist, I'm actually skeptical that that's the case. I actually don't think that this was malicious. I actually think that their explanation probably is the real explanation.
Bunch of shills on this podcast today.
Right? Yeah, no kidding. Shilling for Destiny. Actually, I don't even think I played it. I haven't been playing it. But
I don't believe that
explanation makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And honestly, who's buying these bright engrams anyway? I don't think anyone's really buying them. You don't really get that much out of them. So, honestly, I feel like it should just began and ended at that explanation. But then they're like, okay, well, we'll turn it off then. So they made all the experience gains equal across the board. But of course, then how you level up, like at what point you level up, has to be rebalanced. But they didn't have the time to rebalance. So they're launching an expansion next week. So they went, okay, we're just going to double how much experience it takes. We'll worry about this later. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And it's like, you can't have it both ways. I'd rather have the weird balancing that they had before. That makes sense to me. You put in more time, you get more experience. That makes sense. Do that.
Yeah. They should have just fucking fixed what the UI was showing instead of turning it off.
Yeah, that seems like the easier fix.
I don't know why that was the case, but, you know, again, that looks like something nefarious, but honestly, I guess the team is like 700 some odd people. You know, just shit happens. Mistakes happens. It was wrong. You know, I don't know. To me, like, if this is nefarious, I don't know what the end game is. Get people to buy bright engrams, motherfucker. There's nothing in those bright engrams. Nobody's buying them. Nobody's gonna want to buy them. Right, I see this as being something nefarious, but they also got a bunch of changes coming out too. They were very quickly like, oh, here's what's wrong with the game, and by the way, here's a bunch of stuff coming out, and none of it looks really that interesting to me, but.
It's just like a bad timing on their end, too, because of the whole Battlefield thing.
Oh, of course. Everyone's, you know, really on edge about loot boxes. And that's the thing. Like I said, even if this was the explanation, which sounds perfectly reasonable to me and plausible, not just reasonable, you don't have to do mental gymnastics for this to be a reasonable explanation. It's a reasonable explanation on its own face. But even still, man, that doesn't matter. People are upset about this stuff right now.
Yeah, no, I think they should just get rid of the whole fucking paying for loot box system out of games. I'd be perfectly happy if you want to like earn that shit with like in-game credits. You could only earn in-game, and to buy a loot box, fine. If you want to pay for an item straight up, that's cool. But I hate the whole fucking paying for a random chance of something.
Yeah, I'm starting to sour on it too, just because of just how the industry's gone on it. You know, like when it was just like Overwatch. Yeah, you know, I've done my fair share of complaining about how Overwatch's loot boxes work on this show, but in the end, it's really not that bad. It's just someone took that, like, okay, this is a kind of shady concept, but maybe not awful yet, and just made it awful. Like they just ran with the awfulness.
And it's unnecessary too. Like nobody's gonna miss that system. Those who are like, oh man, I sure wish I could have fucking kept paying for a random chance to get something. There's plenty of other ways to monetize a game without fucking, you know, bringing it down to chance.
And I've heard, the thing is though, I've heard conflicting things. I've heard that these microtransactions make a lot of money. They actually do very well. With who? I don't know. There's got to be it's got to be like mobile games. There's got to be whales. I don't think that. I mean, I don't know a lot of average people are spending a ton of money on these things.
No, there's clearly people who have like addictive personalities and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
I feel like Kotaku, or I think it was Kotaku, did like an interview with a dude who spent like $13,000 on microtransactions in games in the past few years.
Yeah, I read about that too. It was like iPad. It was like games no one's ever heard of, right?
Yeah, for the most part. At least where he started. Yeah.
Nope, some people do it, and that's probably how they make their money. So I've read conflicting things. I've read that they make a shit ton of money, mainly on the backs of whales. But I think it was like EA in regards to this Battlefront 2 stuff said that they don't expect turning microtransactions off to impact the earnings on the game. So it's like, which is it then? If you don't expect it to impact the earnings of the game, why is it in there?
Yeah, I did see that statement from them. And I'm sure that's also just because they're fucking dropping investors and their stock was going down and shit like that, like crazy.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. Like, even though I say I heard mixed things, but that one's probably less truthful. That's probably them trying to save face to investors. That's probably true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I feel like if this whole thing boils down to that they're out of video games, good. Good, because fuck that.
It's not. I doubt it. I doubt that's going to happen. You have all these publishers coming out saying it's not gambling, and you got ESA saying it's not gambling, and the ESRB saying it's not gambling, and that was like Hawaii. There's some Belgium
is very much against it, and the state of Hawaii is
the state of Hawaii. Yeah. And I wish it didn't come to that. Like I think I said this before on the show. Like I wish it didn't come to government interference with this. I feel like this is something that can be resolved within the industry. But I mean, people are taking notice because if nothing else, there's probably some truth to the fact that there's some people with addictive personalities. This may not be that great for them.
Yeah.
Some kind of content descriptor on the box, if nothing else, even if it's not regulated in any way or anything or taxed or whatever. If there's something on the box, something just saying, "Hey, by the way, this is in the game." Maybe here's your odds or whatever. I don't know. Would be way more helpful than dragging the fucking government in.
Fuck! I just wanted out. Yeah, no, I don't think they. Honestly, just fucking monetize your games in other ways. I would pay
raise the prices. Raise the prices. If it's a good game, raise price. Yeah.
I mean, fucking. I think people are gonna. I mean, Uncharted fucking 4 probably costs more than Battlefield 2, and those shit doesn't. But no, if there's a big game that has a huge budget, just raise the price.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the other news? Cereal?
The Nintendo cereal system's coming back.
Nice. 2 bags, Zelda Mario?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's Super Mario cereal in an amiibo box.
What? I want to know, like, how long was this planned? Is there, like, when you scan it into Mario Odyssey, it'd be like, oh, good job scanning in your box of cereal, like. Or does it just act as if it's one of the other amiibos, like Wedding Peach or something?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I wonder what it says.
I mean, I'm sure they could probably just update it. To shoot out a quick update, because it's not going to give you anything great. It's probably just gonna be like Breath of the Wild amiibos, where like, oh, here's some apples and an arrow.
Yeah, I think in Nintendo's press release it said it was like just coins and hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there doesn't need to be anything substantial in game to trigger this. Oh, his data miners would have found it a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true.
I am buying the shit out of this cereal, though. I'm gonna.
It's just like Lucky Charms, right? That's all it is.
Happily eat my Lucky Charms Mario Edition cereal. Yeah, it's just fucking.
Yeah, it's
cereal marshmallows, stale, dried up little marshmallows.
Yep. Yeah, but they're in the shape of question mark boxes and mushrooms.
There's a 1-Up mushroom in here. There's not even a fucking 1-Up mushroom in Mario Odyssey.
It's not Mario Odyssey cereal. It's Super Mario cereal, Seth. It covers all of Mario's range.
He has Cappy on, and the goddamn Odyssey is flying around in the background of the cereal box.
I never actually looked at the box because I didn't care that much.
And, yeah, well, it's fucking very much branded as a Mario Odyssey cereal. Anyway.
Well, they got to brand it as something. That's the big thing right now. Got to sell cereal so you can sell Mario games.
Is this basically a Mario loot box?
Yeah, it's a Mario loot box.
That's it for news.
Good.
Good. I didn't fucking want to talk about Destiny anymore.
Actually, the most interesting thing about this is that there's a fucking cereal blog that this was posted on. This is the age we live in, that there's a cereal blog called Seriously.
I'm not going to lie to you. Years ago, a coworker and I, we worked night shift, and we ate so much cereal. We that's all we ate at work, and we actually wanted to start a cereal blog critiquing cereal. That was the thing I wanted to do at one point.
Clearly, there's a market for it. People are reading that cereal blog.
No, I didn't do any market research. I didn't say there's a market for it. I just said that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to talk about, Kellogg's Product 19. That sounds like a great cereal.
Was that a real cereal?
Yeah, and that's basically a code name. They didn't give it a real name. That was like the 19th cereal that they made. So there's like, yep, that's Product 19.
Jesus Christ.
You should have done it, Craig. You could be out there posting a review of Kellogg's Donut Shop Pink Donut cereal.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. It was gonna be like cerealconnoisseurs.com or something like that, but that just required way more work than we wanted to put in at the time. We just wanted to eat cereal. That's what we fucking wanted to
do. Okay, that's all for news.
I'm mailbagging it. Let's fucking wrap this up. .hack on Twitter says, is it wrong for game companies to launch a game overloaded with microtransactions? So launching it, rather than building a solid foundation to begin with and implementing them slowly over time. No, just fucking have them. Just, I don't, like, if
you're not going to win either way. Like,
no, there's
at this juncture,
like,
nobody wants them. But if you add them late, that happened actually. What is it? Plants vs. Zombies: Garden Warfare, the first one, had this. It didn't have microtransactions. You couldn't pay real money for anything. But it did have basically loot boxes. They weren't that nomenclature wasn't popular at the time. They were card packs, and you got these card packs now to unlock new stuff. But the rate of unlocking new stuff was super slow. Like, in order to get like a new character, you had to collect 5 pieces of the character on different cards, and it would be totally random in the card pack. So it would take fucking forever to unlock a new character. And everyone speculated, like, this economy is straight fucked. How are you supposed to unlock anything? This has got to be, tuned for microtransactions, but there are no microtransactions. Sure enough, it's a fucking EA game, so microtransactions came out later, and everyone was pissed. So you're not. There's no way you're going to win this. Like, no one wants them either way.
Yeah, no. I would say it's probably worse to add them in later, though. But yeah, either way, nobody's wanting them. And Andrew on Twitter says that he's recently got his wife addicted to Animal Crossing New Leaf. He was actually unaware of the Welcome Amiibo update, and it got him sucked back in, and in turn got his wife sucked back in. She's already put close to 100 hours into it. Talk about Animal Crossing. Yeah, the 3DS game is great. I never even checked out the Amiibo update shit that they did, though, because I was just... Like, it came out so long after the game launched, right?
Yeah, it was basically a free expansion. Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they put out a new box game that included the update, so it was like, yeah.
Oh, that's what it did. Yeah, it says Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. I think it's the full.
It's like when they used to do like plus games, like back on PS2 and shit, like Phantasy Star Online Plus,
International Edition.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it is actually kind of like that because it's more than just Amiibo functionality. There's it's like Pocket Camp. There's a whole campsite, and you get a camper and all that.
Yeah.
Do you get a camper? I forget if you get a camper. I don't know myself.
Like I said, I remember watching the Treehouse Nintendo Direct for it, but I never played it. I never played the Amiibo update, so I have no idea. I think you just go to a campsite and you hang out with a dude in a camper.
Well, I think there are people that come through in campers, and they have campers that you can enter, and then they might have exclusive furniture that you can buy. And if you scan an Amiibo or Amiibo cards, you might get someone specific. So I have a coworker she's crazy into Animal Crossing, fucking banana. She owns multiple 3DSs and multiple copies of the game so she can play with herself. And I'm an Amiibo supplier. I bring in Amiibo so she can scan them in, and I guess. I'm not really 100% sure what they do, but someone, I guess, like, she did Callie and Marie recently. She had me bring in Callie and Marie. And I guess maybe Callie and Marie come in a camper, and they have exclusive items that you can purchase.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out, because this fucking Pocket Camp has got me, like, itching for Animal Crossing, and it's not, like, scratching that itch, you know?
Because it's not enough. It's just not enough.
It's not. Little mini bite size. So yeah, actually, I might check back out New Leaf. I might check New Leaf back out because there's new stuff.
Are you going to have weeds all over your town? That's a thing in Animal Crossing, right?
Oh, that'll actually be a good thing because I'll get a medal for pulling weeds that I never got from the walrus or whatever, or the otter, beaver. I don't know
whatever the fuck that animal.
Whatever he is. Whatever the dude gives medals out.
This sounds like fucking Skyrim. So you're just doing chores.
You are doing chores. But it's fun.
Yeah. I played Animal Crossing on the 3DS. I put like 20 hours into it. And I enjoyed it at the time. But I think not having like a long-term story or a long-term goal or something like that, it's not something that was going to hold my interest for like 100 hours. So I didn't play much more than that. And I'm probably not going to go check out the Amiibo update.
I feel like...
I like how you just shut that down. Like, it didn't hold my interest, and I'm not going back. Fuck that. I'm Chris.
Honestly, I feel like that's something that they need to address with the next game. Because, I mean, I'm fine with the current setup, but if they just have some sort of long-term ending in sight, I think would help for people like Chris who just feel like they're doing chores because that's what you're doing.
I'm not sure what that would look like in Animal Crossing. I don't disagree. I'm just sort of... I'm not...
Yeah, my goal there was not to shut it down and be like, this game sucks. Not like Skyrim. Like, I played it for 20 hours and like I understand the appeal. It's just beyond that, it doesn't appeal to me. So
I get you, but I mean, basically they've been remaking the same game since the Nintendo 64. So
yeah, the 3DS one was the first one that I actually put a decent amount of time into. And like I said, I did enjoy it for what I played of it. It's just I don't have any interest in playing much more of it.
Well, New Leaf feels like the concept fully realized, right?
Since you're mayor and you get to build stuff around and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like the landmark stuff. I mean, you could always say like, oh, I want a sequel to this game, but I want it to be more or bigger. And that's probably true for like almost any game you can think of. But Animal Crossing, it's not just about more and bigger. It's about expanding on its own ideas because it has a lot of great ideas. It just, they need to get a little bit further with it.
Adventures. There needs to be like adventures you could go on. Just like little adventures, man.
Yeah, like even like randomized. Perhaps they can be, randomized in some way. Yeah. So and you can do that with other players or with animals.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I mean, there are ways to take this game further while also being Animal Crossing, because Animal Crossing is a very specific thing. I think in practice, but also in my head, perhaps, you know, in just my own personal opinion. But I think that there are things that are objectively, specifically Animal Crossing, and straying too far from them, you're going to end up with a game that isn't Animal Crossing, I think.
What's the name of the shitty Animal Crossing board game on Wii U?
Amiibo Festival or something,
right,
I think?
Yeah, okay, so in Amiibo Festival, which is shitty...
which is shitty, by the way. I want to make that clear.
There's a side mode though, where like you get stranded on a desert island, and you have like a few different animals with different abilities, and you got to like collect. You got to find resources.
That's in New Leaf.
And food. No, it's not in New Leaf. It's in Amiibo Festival.
No, stop. It's in New Leaf. It's part of the Welcome Amiibo update. You can get a Wii U or a 3DS. There's 2 new mini games, one on a Wii U and one on a 3DS, and this is one of them.
All right. Well, that game is fucking fantastic, and that's awesome that it's in that they threw it in.
Right. I think they were probably thinking along the lines of what you're saying. Perhaps we can, you know, perhaps it's worth it to expand what it is to be Animal Crossing, and
yes,
this is it. Yeah.
So
yeah,
more shit like that. More shit like that. I did not know that they threw that in the update. All right.
Yeah, like I said, the update's like an expansion. I mean, it's there's some substantial content in there.
All right. Well then, never mind. Shut me up. I'm done with this episode. I'm tired and hungry.
I'm just tired.
All right. Well, how can people get in touch with us in the mailbag, though, Seth?
People can look for the mailbag that I post one day before recording, and I'm not killing time to pull up a calendar right now, so I can tell you when it'll be up. It'll be up on December 14th on Twitter at Ludowave Radio and Facebook at Ludowave Radio, and you could just reply to that, and you might have a chance of getting your comment or question read on the air.
Fabulous prizes!
Chris's copy of Skyrim from GameStop. Go to that GameStop and find Chris's copy. He writes his name in permanent marker on the back of all his games, so it's really easy to find.
I am not that kind of monster.
Magic.
I am a different kind of monster.
Okay.
Not that one specifically. All right. Well, hey, do we have anything we want to add?
No.
Nope, you're tired and hungry.
Do your closing thing that you're so good at.
I'm really bad at it, but that's I want to thank everyone for listening. You can find us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Ludowave Radio, where you can like, comment, you can subscribe, you can download, which is very handy. You can stream; those are handy for people that don't want to use podcast apps. And speaking of podcasts, you can find us on your favorite podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and if you have just a minute, if you can review us in Apple Podcasts, it would be super helpful. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at Ludowave Radio on both. Our theme song, composed exclusively for us by Morning Moon and Mercury. You can find more of his stuff at morningmoonandmercury.bandcamp.com. You can find me, Craig, on Twitter and on Instagram. I am at TV Lust on both. Seth, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Seth Castellum. And Chris?
You can find me on Twitter at eChrisDunn and on Instagram at eChrisDunn.
We're out.
Bye.
Bye.